Can I ask you something a little personal? Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly had no idea why, or opened the fridge, stared at the shelves, and stood there like time had frozen? You probably laughed and said, "Oh well, just one of those senior moments." But what if it wasn't? I've been a neurologist for over 30 years. And if there's one thing I've learned from sitting across thousands of patients, it's this. Memory loss isn't always aging. Sometimes it's a warning, a soft, quiet signal from your brain that something deeper is going on. And if you're over 60, I need you to lean in. Because what I'm about to tell you could be the difference between peace of mind and a life-changing diagnosis. According to the National Institute on Aging, 1 in 5 Americans over 65 is already showing signs of mild cognitive impairment, and many don't even know it. And while not every forgotten name or story means dementia, some are early red flags. Here's the hard truth. Your body never forgets. Your brain always whispers. We just don't always listen until it's too late. In today's video, I'm going to show you what those whispers sound like. The gentle signs most people ignore, the dangerous ones families miss, and 5 powerful natural ways to protect your memory, starting with something as simple as what's on your breakfast plate. But first, if you've ever opened a drawer and couldn't remember why, or caught yourself repeating the same story twice in one day, leave me a 1 in the comments. If that's never happened to you, leave a 0. Be honest, because chances are someone else is scrolling through right now, afraid, confused, and waiting to see if they're alone. You are not alone, and if this speaks to you, if you're ready to stay sharp, independent, and clear-headed for as long as possible, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. We're just getting started. Let's protect your brain before it cries out for help. Number 1, the red flags families miss until it's too late. Let me tell you a story about someone I'll call Henry. Henry is 71, retired firefighter, strong hands, big laugh, always the first to help when a neighbor needed something. But over the past year, something started to shift. He began asking the same question multiple times on the same day. He misplaced his keys, not once, not twice, but 5 or 6 times a week. Then one afternoon he got lost, not in a new town, in the neighborhood he'd lived in for over 25 years. His wife, Linda, brushed it off. Just normal aging, as she said. We all forget things sometimes. But deep down, she knew something wasn't right. And here's the tragedy. Most families don't recognize the signs until the damage is already done. We think it's harmless. We tell ourselves, he's just tired. She's been stressed. It happens to everyone. But there's a difference between occasional forgetfulness and patterns that point to deeper issues. Telling the same story over and over, asking the same question again and again, losing track of the date or time, struggling to follow simple steps, like a recipe they've cooked for years or getting confused during basic conversations. These aren't just aging. They are neural warning signs, tiny malfunctions in the brain's wiring system. And the earlier we catch them, the more we can do to help. According to the Alzheimer's Association, nearly 7 million Americans over 65 are living with Alzheimer's right now. But get this, over half of those cases go undiagnosed. Why? Because no one wants to believe the little lapses matter until they're no longer little. And I've seen what happens when people wait too long. The confusion grows, the frustration builds, and the precious window for treatment starts to close. But I've also seen the opposite. People who catch the signs early, families who speak up. And the results? Hope, healing, slowed decline. That's why I'm telling you this today, with urgency and with love. If someone you care about is getting lost in familiar places, forgetting common words, pausing mid-sentence, unsure how to finish a thought, becoming more withdrawn, frustrated, or not themselves, don't ignore it. Don't wait for it to get worse. Your brain, or their brain, is whispering for help. And when you listen early, you don't just preserve memory. You protect identity. You protect independence. You protect the story of someone's life. If this sounds like someone you love, a parent, a spouse, a friend, type their initials or just say thinking of someone in the comments. You never know who you'll encourage by speaking first. And if you're still with me, thank you. That means you're not here just for answers. You're here for action. In the next section, I'm going to share something that might surprise you. Memory loss isn't always Alzheimer's. Sometimes it's your thyroid. Sometimes it's your medication. And sometimes it's just dehydration. Let's keep going together. Number 2, memory loss isn't always Alzheimer's. Surprising causes you need to know. Let me be very clear about something. Just because you've been forgetting things lately does not mean you have Alzheimer's. Yes, memory loss can be serious. Yes, it can be heartbreaking, but sometimes it's not about the brain dying. It's about the brain reacting to something that can be fixed. And that's where hope begins. There are several common treatable causes of memory trouble that I see all the time in patients over 60. And when we catch them early, the fog lifts. Clarity comes back. Life feels possible again. The first and most overlooked culprit is dehydration. Your brain is made up of almost 75% water. And when your body lacks fluid, even just a little, your brain suffers first. Thinking slows down. Focus fades. Short-term memory starts to stumble. What's worse is that most older adults don't feel thirsty, even when they're dehydrated. They're not sweating, they're not out in the sun, but their brain cells are drying out in silence. Now let's talk about medications. Certain prescriptions quietly cloud the brain. They're not designed to harm you, but for seniors, their side effects can hit hard. Drugs for anxiety, allergies, sleep, muscle pain, and even blood pressure may interfere with the chemicals your brain uses to think clearly. Benzodiazepines, antihistamines, sleep aids. If you're taking any of these, or have been for years without review, it may be time for a conversation with your doctor. Another hidden cause? Thyroid dysfunction. Your thyroid is a small gland in your neck that has a big impact on your entire body, including your brain. When it slows down, known as hypothyroidism, people often feel tired, sluggish, forgetful, and emotionally flat. And here's the danger. It can easily be mistaken for early dementia. That's why I always recommend a full thyroid panel for anyone over 60 with memory complaints. Because sometimes the fix is a small daily pill and a second chance at mental clarity. Now let's talk about vitamin B12. This nutrient is essential for brain health. Without enough B12, your nerves begin to misfire. You may feel foggy, forgetful, or like your thoughts just don't connect the way they used to. And here's the shocker. A large percentage of older adults have low B12, especially those who take antacids, metformin, or follow a restricted diet. And the symptoms can sneak up slowly, until one day it feels like your brain just hit a wall. Finally, let's not ignore mental health. Depression, anxiety, and stress can all mimic dementia. When your mind is carrying too much emotional weight, it cannot focus, store, or retrieve memories like it should. There's even a name for this, pseudo-dementia. It looks like Alzheimer's, but it's reversible. So here's what I want you to remember. Not all forgetfulness is neurological. Sometimes it's nutritional, sometimes it's hormonal, sometimes it's emotional, and sometimes it's just water. Before you assume the worst, start with the basics. Are you drinking enough? Have you reviewed your medications lately? When was your last thyroid test? How's your B12 level? And how's your heart? Not just physically, but emotionally. Your brain is not a machine. It's part of your whole body. And it gives you clues, not in dramatic ways, but in quiet moments. Moments where you feel foggy, moments when you lose your words, moments where you feel like you're not quite yourself. That's not failure. That's your body asking for support. In the comments below, tell me, have you ever had a medical issue, medication, or emotional stress that made your memory worse? You never know who you might help by sharing your story. And next, I'll walk you through something most people fear, but don't have to. What happens when you go in for a memory evaluation? Because getting checked doesn't mean something is wrong. It means you care enough to take charge. Let's walk through it, step by step, together. Number 3, a simple visit can save your brain. What to expect from a real diagnosis. Let's be honest. For many people over 60, The idea of seeing a neurologist feels intimidating. You might wonder, what if they tell me I'm losing my mind? What if I go in feeling nervous and walk out feeling worse? I understand that fear, truly I do. But I want you to know something powerful. Getting checked early does not steal your peace. It gives you clarity. It gives you direction. And often, it gives you relief. Let me show you what happens during a memory evaluation. Not the movie version. The real version. No judgment, no rush, just understanding. Step 1 is conversation. That's it. You sit down with a doctor who listens. Not just to your symptoms, but to your story. They may ask, have you missed appointments lately? Do you feel more forgetful or mentally slow? Have your family or friends noticed changes in you? You'll also talk about medications, sleep, mood, and diet. Because as we learned earlier, the brain is part of everything, not separate from it. Step 2 is basic blood work. Nothing fancy, just a panel to check for common, reversible issues. Things like vitamin B12 deficiency, low thyroid function, signs of dehydration or infection, blood sugar or kidney function imbalances. These are silent problems that don't show up in daily life, but they show up in your lab results. And when they do, they give us real answers. Fast. Step 3 is cognitive testing. Now, this isn't about passing or failing. It's not a pop quiz. It's more like a gentle checkup for your mind. You might be asked to remember a few words, draw a clock, name animals, or follow simple steps. These exercises help us see how your short-term memory, attention, and language skills are working. They're not meant to scare you. They're designed to protect you by catching patterns early. Step 4, if needed, is brain imaging. That might mean a CT scan or an MRI, completely painless. No surgery, no discomfort. It helps us rule out strokes, tumors, brain shrinkage, or other changes in structure. You don't need to understand all the medical terms. A good doctor will walk you through the images, show you what's normal, and explain what isn't. And finally, step 5 is a plan. You don't leave that visit with a scary label. You leave with a path forward. If your memory loss is caused by something reversible like low B12 or a medication side effect, we adjust course and you start to feel better, sometimes within weeks. If it turns out to be mild cognitive impairment or early Alzheimer's, we act early. That means more tools, more time, and more control over your next steps. You might be referred to a specialist. You might be given new routines, brain exercises, nutrition goals, or medication options. But most of all, you leave with knowledge. Because not knowing, that is what steals your peace. If you've ever delayed seeing a doctor because of fear, tell me in the comments. You're not alone. Just type, yes, I was scared too. But if you're watching this right now, you've already taken the hardest step. You're asking questions. You're staying curious. You're not giving up. In the next part, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake I've seen in 30 years of neurology and how to avoid it with strength, not shame. Let's keep going. You're doing something powerful. Number 4, the big mistake, waiting too long to see a neurologist. Let me say something that may be uncomfortable to hear, but could change everything. The biggest mistake I've seen in my 30 years of practice is not forgetting. It's waiting. Waiting until the signs can't be denied. Waiting until the person you love forgets your name. Waiting until the fear becomes so big that you do nothing at all. And I understand why. No one wants to face the possibility of brain decline. It's easier to say, he's just getting older, or she's always been a little forgetful. It's tempting to hope it'll just get better. That maybe if you rest, take some vitamins, or ignore it, it'll pass. But here's the truth. The brain doesn't heal in silence. It heals through action. And when you delay, you lose something far more precious than time. You lose opportunity. According to the Alzheimer's Association, most people wait 2 to 3 years after symptoms begin before seeking help. And during that time, something irreversible often takes root. The brain's pathways close, options narrow, and the chance to truly help starts to fade. What breaks my heart most isn't the diagnosis. It's the regret. I've sat with sons and daughters who say, I wish we'd brought her in sooner. I thought it was normal. I didn't want to scare him. And I've watched patients, bright, beautiful people, walk in at the tipping point when they're still aware enough to know something's wrong, but not early enough to stop it. That's why I'm saying this to you now. Do not wait until the signs scream. Listen when they whisper. If your loved one is showing early changes, or if you are feeling different, slower, foggy, frustrated with your memory, now is the time to check. Not because you're broken, but because you still have power, because you still have options, because your future is still yours to shape. The longer you wait, the fewer paths remain. But when you act early, everything changes. You can build a brain-healthy routine. You can adjust medications. You can find community, clarity, and support. You can protect your story before pieces of it disappear. So let me ask you gently, have you ever told yourself, I'll look into it later? If so, leave a comment and type the word later. No shame, just honesty. Let's talk about what that delay costs and what it could save. Because if you're still watching this, it means something and you already knows. It's time. And in the next section, I'll give you real hopeful steps, gentle habits backed by science, to support your brain starting today. You don't need pills. You don't need pressure. You just need to begin. Let's keep going. Your brain is worth it. Number 5, gentle, natural ways to strengthen brain health after 60. You've made it this far. You've faced some hard truths. You've stayed open. You've chosen awareness over fear. And now it's time for the part that gives hope. Because protecting your brain doesn't require complicated routines. It doesn't require expensive supplements. And it doesn't require panic. All it takes is small, consistent habits done with intention. Let me walk you through 5 gentle, science-backed ways to support your brain after 60. First, move every day. Even just a little. You don't need to run. You don't need a gym. But your brain depends on movement to stay sharp. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that just 30 minutes of walking a day improves memory, focus, and even mood. Why? Because walking increases blood flow, and your brain loves oxygen. Movement clears out toxins, boosts mental energy, and tells your brain, you matter, I'm still here, keep going. Even standing up once an hour or walking around the house counts. Little things make a big difference. Second, feed your brain with the right foods. Your brain is always hungry, not just for calories, but for nutrients. Leafy greens, wild salmon, olive oil, nuts, and berries are your brain's best friends. A Mediterranean-style diet, supported by Harvard research, has been linked to slower cognitive decline and better memory. And here's something simple you can start with. Cut back on added sugar, especially in the morning. Even 1 or 2 teaspoons a day, hidden in cereal, bread, or flavored drinks, can cause blood sugar spikes that cloud thinking. So next time you make a meal, ask yourself, is this feeding my brain or just filling my stomach? Third, sleep with intention. Sleep is not just rest, it's repair. While you sleep, your brain cleans itself, flushing out waste and locking in memories. Older adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, but many don't get it. Blue light from phones, late night stress, or just inconsistent routines can disrupt brain recovery. Try this tonight. Dim your lights an hour before bed. Avoid screens. Create a calm ritual, maybe gentle music, a book, or a cup of herbal tea. And remember, sleep is not being lazy. It's one of the most powerful things you can do for your memory. Fourth, stay socially and mentally active. Conversation is medicine. So is laughter. So is curiosity. Studies from Johns Hopkins University show that people with strong social connections have a significantly lower risk of dementia. Call a friend. Join a group. Try something new. A recipe, a book, a puzzle, a walk in a new park. Every time you kindly challenge your brain, you build what scientists call cognitive reserve. It's like savings for your memory, a cushion that protects you as you age. Fifth, breathe with purpose. You might not expect this one, but it's incredibly powerful. Deep breathing, done slowly and regularly, calms the nervous system, lowers stress hormones, and supports brain clarity. Just 5 minutes a day can help. Sit quietly, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale through your mouth for 6. Repeat. Let your body shift from fight or flight into healing mode. It costs nothing. It takes almost no time, but it tells your brain you are safe, you can focus, you can remember. Every one of these steps is small on its own, but together they create a rhythm, a message to your brain that says, I'm still growing, I still care. I'm not done yet. So now I want to ask you gently, what's one habit you're willing to start this week? It could be drinking more water, taking a walk, eating less sugar, calling an old friend, or simply breathing more deeply before bed. Share it in the comments. Your choice might inspire someone else to take their first step. And now, in the final section, I'll leave you with one last message. Soft, but powerful, because memory loss doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of something wiser. Let's finish strong, together. Take a breath with me, right now, right here. Let the silence settle in your chest. You've just walked through one of the hardest conversations we can have as we age. Is my memory slipping? Am I in danger of losing who I am? And yet, you stayed, you listened, you faced it with eyes wide open. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. You see, most people turn away when memory fades. They joke about it, they brush it off, they tell themselves it's nothing, until it becomes everything. But not you. You're part of a rare group. People who choose awareness over avoidance. And let me tell you this, memory loss does not mean your story is over. It can be a doorway. It can be your body's way of saying, hey, let's take care of this now. Because when you listen early, you protect your brain. You protect your independence. You protect the little moments that make you you, like the smell of your morning coffee, the name of your grandchild, the punchline of your favorite joke. You are not powerless. You are not too late, and you are not alone. Whether you start walking more, or finally schedule that appointment, or simply drink a little more water each day, every small decision becomes a gift to your future self. So I want to ask you one last thing. What's one step you'll take this week to care for your brain? Leave it in the comments. Maybe it's calling your doctor. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's simply saying, I'm ready to take this seriously. Because healing starts with honesty. And now, if you're still with me, I want to give you something important. Your brain's health isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you eat. And believe it or not, some foods we think are healthy can become dangerous when combined the wrong way. So in the next video, I'll walk you through something most people don't know. Seniors never eat blueberries with these 3 foods. They turn toxic. Yes, even blueberries, if mixed with the wrong ingredients, can backfire. If you want to keep protecting your mind, your memory, and your future, click here now to watch it. I'll be waiting for you there. Take care of your mind, because your story still has so much more to give.